Mm.
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So we welcome all of you to our session on Krishna Katha series, which is day 2 today. Yesterday we were discussing about how the Lord advents in this material world. We were discussing about Lord Kamsa's persecutions. We were discussing about how Krishna makes his advent in this material world, the reasons thereof, and how Vasudev carried Lord Krishna from Mathura to Gokul. We were discussing about that. So we move ahead to Krishna Lila today. ओम ज्ञानतिमिरन्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरुवे नमः श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूपा कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकं वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतापदकमलं श्रीगुरून् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगण रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्णचैतन्यदेवं श्री राधा कृष्ण पादान सहगण ललिता श्री विशाखान्वितंश्च नमः ओम विष्णुपादाय कृष्ण पृष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्ति वेदांत स्वामी निधि नामिने नमस्ते सरस्वते देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देश तारिणे जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभु नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्तवृंद हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे. Kamsa begins his persecutions. So after Vasudev adjusted things as they had been before, he carried Krishna to Gokul and all the doors and gates became similarly closed. The gatekeepers awoke and they heard the newborn child crying. Kamsa is waiting for the news of the child's birth and the gatekeepers they immediately approach him and they inform that the child has taken birth. Now, at that time, Kamsa got up from his bed very quickly and he exclaimed, Now this cruel death of my life is born. So, Kamsa became very perplexed and his hair got scattered. Immediately, he proceeded towards the place where the child was born. So, Devaki, on seeing Kamsa, became in a very meek attitude. She prayed, My dear brother, please do not kill this female child. I promise that this child will be the wife of your son. Therefore, don't kill her. You are not to be killed by any female child. That was the prophecy. You are to be killed by a male child. So please do not kill her. You have already killed so many of my children who are just born. And that is not your fault. You have been advised by demoniac friends to kill my children. But I beg you to excuse this girl at least. Let her live as my daughter. So Kamsa was so cruel that he did not listen to the pitiful prayers of his sister Devaki also. And he forcibly grabbed the newborn child to rebuke his sister and attempted to dash her on the stone mercilessly. Now, this is a graphic example of how a cruel demon can sacrifice all relationships for the sake of personal gratification. But this child immediately slipped out of Kamsa's hands and went into the sky and appeared with 8 arms as the younger sister of Vishnu. So she was decorated with nice garments and flower garlands and ornaments, and in her 8 hands she held the club, disc, conch shell, sword, bow, lance, all these different weapons. Seeing the appearance of the child, who was actually goddess Durga, all the demigods from the various planets, they began to offer various articles and also prayers. From above, the goddess addresses Kamsa that, You rascal, how can you kill me? The child who will kill you has already been born before me somewhere else in this world. Don't be so cruel to your poor sister. After this appearance, so then goddess Durga became known on the earth by different names. Now, after hearing these words, Kamsa becomes very much overwhelmed by fear. He, out of pity, he immediately releases Vasudeva and Devaki from their bondage, from their shackles, and he politely begins to address them. He says that, my dear sister and brother-in-law, I have acted as a demon in killing my nephews, and I have given up all consideration of our intimate relationship. I do not know what will be the result of such envious acts of mine. I don't know. Probably I will have to go to hell, where the killers of the Brahmanas go. I am surprised, however, that the celestial prophecy has not come true. It seems that even the devatas, even the demigods lie. Because I believed them so seriously, I took their word so seriously, I have committed so many sins in killing the children of my sister. Actually, Devaki and Vasudev, you are very great souls. And I have no instructions to give you, but I still request you not to be sorry for the death of your children. Because every one of us is under this superior will, under the superior power. And that superior power does not always allow us to remain together. We are bound to be separated from our friends and relatives in the due course of time. So, but we must know that even after the disappearance of the material bodies, the soul always remains intact. So, we are not this body, but we are actually the soul. The spirit soul always is eternal. There is nothing to lament. Just see how Kamsa is the greatest demon, but he is talking about the philosophy. This is the philosophy of Bhagavad Gita, the essence of Bhagavad Gita, which begins with the science of the soul. So that is what Kamsa is now declaring. Where did his philosophy go in all the previous times? Where did it go? My dear sister Devaki, you are very gentle and kind, so please excuse me. Don't be aggrieved by the death of your children, which I have caused. All of this was predestined, he says. This was predestined, even unwillingly. So please take compassion upon me and excuse me. So while Kamsa was speaking to his brother-in-law and sister, tears were flowing from Kamsa's eyes. He is actually repenting. He is repentant. Believing the words of Durga Devi, whom he tried to kill, Kamsa immediately released his brother-in-law and sister. And he personally unlocked the iron shackles and very sympathetically showed friendship for his family members. Now, when Devaki saw his brother so repentant, she became pacified and forgot all his atrocious activities against her children. Vasudev, also forgetting all past incidents, he spoke smilingly with his brother-in-law. Vasudev told Kamsa, my dear fortunate brother-in-law, what you are saying about the material body and the soul is absolutely correct. Every living being is born ignorant to the original self. And this conception is due to ignorance. On that basis, we create friendship, we create enmity. So we forget our eternal relationship with the Supreme Personality of Godhead being in this body. So in this way, Vasudeva is also preaching, is confirming what Kamsa said, and Kamsa becomes very pleased, and the guilt of killing his nephew subsides. With the permission of his sister Devaki and brother-in-law Vasudeva, he returns home with a relieved mind. But the next day, Kamsa called his counselors together and narrated the incidents of the previous day. All the counselors of Kamsa, they were demons and they were eternal enemies of Lord Vishnu. So they became depressed upon hearing their master speak of the night's events. And although they were not very much learned or experienced, they began to give advice to Kamsa, saying, dear sir, now let us make arrangements to kill all the children who have taken birth in the last 10 days in all towns, countries, villages and pasturing grounds. And let us execute this plan immediately. So we think that if the demigods cannot do anything against us if we perform these atrocities, they are always fighting with us. So even if they want to check our activities, they will not dare to do so. They are afraid of you because of your immeasurable strength. So we have experienced that whenever you stand to fight with them, then they become afraid. So with folded hands, the demigods had requested you to spare them. So in this way, Kamsa's counselors, his friends who were demoniac, they began counseling Kamsa. So then Kamsa, the demons, they are constantly telling that the Brahmanas, the Vishnu is becoming stronger due to the Brahmanas. So Brahmanical culture, which is due to the Brahmanas performing sacrifices due to protection of cows, this Allah give us permission to finish this off. Let us kill all the cows, which are the source of butter, which is so necessary for performing sacrifices. You give us your permission to kill these creatures. Now, in this way, Kamsa was advised by his demoniac ministers. Now, Kamsa is the greatest rascal. He decided to persecute the Brahmanas and Vaishnavas, being entrapped by the shackles of all devouring time. So, he ordered the demons to harass all kinds of saintly persons, and then he entered his house. So, all of these adherents of Kamsa they were influenced by the mode of passion and ignorance, and their only business was to create enmity with saintly people. Now, such kind of enmity only reduces one's duration of life. The demons accelerated the process and invited their own deaths far too soon. That is the result of persecuting saintly persons, that is untimely death. The act is so offensive that if somebody persecutes saintly people, causes harm or offends them, then they lose all the good opulences they have also. They will lose fame, wealth, money, beauty, they lose everything. And even they are not promoted to higher planets. Thus, driven by various mental concoctions, the demons, they diminish all auspiciousness. So, in this way, Kamsa begins his persecutions, allows his demoniac friends to persecute all Brahmanas, all saintly people, cows, and the protector of religion. Now, after this comes the meeting of Nanda and Vasudeva. Now, although Krishna was the real son of Vasudeva and Devaki, because of Kamsa's atrocious activities, Vasudeva could not enjoy the birth ceremony of his son. But Nand Maharaj, he celebrated the birth ceremony of Krishna very joyfully. So, this festival is called Nandotsav, the festival of Nand Maharaj. Because Nand Maharaj was an old man. It was a long time since Nanda and Yashoda had no child, and they were desirous of one very much. So finally, when they had a child, that too a son, they were extremely jubilant. So to celebrate, and not only that, Nanda Maharaj was the king of Vrindavana, is the king of Vraj, and Yashoda Maya is the queen. So when the king and queen are having a child, what a joyous occasion that is. So that was celebrated in Gokul. Because so this happens, as you know, Krishna, he was born at midnight. So very soon we are going to celebrate the occasion of Sri Krishna Janmashtami. So on the Ashtami Tithi at midnight Krishna appeared, and then Vasudeva takes him on the crossing the Jamuna, he takes him to the other side to Gokul, leaves her there. So now the night passes by, and in the morning, so that day, the next day became the day of Nandotsav. How? Because it was declared that a male child was born to Yashoda. So according to the Vedic custom, Nand Maharaj called the astrologers and Brahmanas to perform this birth ceremony. So why are Brahmanas called? See, in Vedic culture, Brahmanas have a very important role to play. This is because Brahmanas are the ones who uphold religious ceremonies, ritualistic sacrificial performances, which are all meant to satisfy the Supreme Personality of Godhead. When Krishna is pleased, then there is an abundance of everything positive. So the goal is to please Krishna. The Brahmanas live for that. Namo Brahmane Devaya Go Brahmane Hitaya Cha Jagad Hitaya Krishnaya Govindaya Namo Namaha. Krishna is known as the Lord of the Brahmanas. So the Brahmanas have a very important role to play in society. Who are Brahmanas? Brahmanas are not those who are born in the family of Brahmanas. Brahmana means a person who lives by dharma. Brahmanas are the people who are in pursuit of the absolute truth. Brahma Janati iti Brahmana. The one who knows the supreme Brahman, that is Krishna, he is a real Brahmana. So, after the birth of the child, the learned Brahmanas who had come, some of them astrologers, they calculated the birth timings and made a horoscope, prepared a horoscope of the child's future. Another ceremony takes place after the birth of the child, wherein the family members, they take bath, they dress themselves and decorate themselves with nice ornaments and garments. And then they come before the child and hear from the astrologer about the future of the child. So Nand Maharaj and all the family members, they dressed up and they sat down in front of the birthplace. So all the Brahmanas were assembled there, they were chanting auspicious mantras according to the rituals, while the astrologers performed the birth ceremony. So even demigods are worshipped, forefathers are worshipped in this ceremony. An astonishing feature of this Utsav was Nand Maharaj's charity. He gave so much charity. Nand Maharaj, he distributed 2 lakh cows in charity, which were well decorated with cloth and ornaments. He not only gave the Brahmanas cows, but he gave hills of grain decorated with ornaments and golden bordered cloth. Now, in the material world, we possess rich and wealth in many ways. We possess riches and wealth. But sometimes we accumulate this not in very pious ways, because that is the nature of accumulating wealth. Business means half truth. Many times we have to lie. It happens in this way. Therefore, according to Vedic injunction, one should purify such wealth by giving charity of cows, gold to Brahmanas. Because the Brahmanas, they are not performing business. What are they doing? They are living a selfless life meant for the elevation and upgradation of the general society. So they have such purifying potency because they are selfless. This is real Brahmanas. Actually, this ISKCON movement is meant to create such real Brahmanas in society. One may not be born in a Brahmin family, but that doesn't have anything to do with the person performing the activities of a Brahmana. So what are activities of a Brahmana? Yajna, Dan, Tapasya, study, Swadhyay. These are activities. Yajan, Yajan, Pathan, Pathan, Dan, Pratigraha. So, Yajan, Yajan means performing yajnas, getting others to perform yajnas, studying, teaching, giving charity, accepting charity. This is what the Brahmanas, they live by. So even in an occasion like, the newly born child, he also gets purified when such charity is performed. So Nand Maharaj set such an example on the occasion of Nandotsav in performing charity. Because in this material world, it is understood that we are always in a contaminated state and we have to purify ourselves, our possessions, our wealth, whatever we have to purify that. And that happens in different ways. Like we purify the duration of our life by taking daily bath, cleaning our body inside and outside. By the austerities, we worship of the Lord, and by distribution of charity, by studying the Vedas, we purify wealth, we purify ourselves by study of Vedas, by hearing the Vedic scriptures. What happens? We purify our minds. In this way, we can attain the absolute truth, achieve self-realization. Therefore, in the Vedic scriptures, it is mentioned, Janmana jayate Shudra samskaret bhaved dvija. That by birth, everyone is a Shudra. That means a 4th class man. By birth, everyone born is a 4th class man. But by engaging in the process of purification, one can become 1st class. That is what spiritual education is all about. How to become 1st class. Srila Prabhupada explains many places, a Brahmana is a person who doesn't build a house, he builds a character. So character is his personality. It's not just about being morally good. It's about being such a leader in society, a servant leader, a selfless leader who is working for people's benefit. And because he is connected so intimately with the Supreme Lord, who is the real well-wisher of all the living entities, and who is also so powerful, he can do well for the living entities. So because of that connection and the purity that the Brahmana possesses, because of that relation and connection and service to the Supreme Lord, he gets transcendental bliss in performing devotional service. Otherwise, what is the remuneration? What are we getting? What am I getting? A Brahmana may think. But what he is getting the blessings of the Supreme Lord. He's coming closer and closer to him because he's performing the work of the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So that is why Brahmanas, you will find that in Vedic culture, they hold great importance. Unfortunately, in today's day, hardly there are any Brahmanas who come from original Brahmanical culture, having brought up in that and who are continuing to propagate and live like that. Very few. But it is such an important thing in society that such Brahmanas should exist because only they can pave the light, they can pave the path for the misdirected society in general. So now coming back to Krishna's birth ceremony. In Krishna's birth ceremony, so all the Brahmanas, they're chanting different mantras also. And then there was mantras, then there were songs also being played. And on this joyous occasion, there was very positive vibration everywhere. And everywhere there was scented water that was being sprayed. And different kinds of decoration was also done. Flags, festoons, green leaves were put everywhere. On the gates also, and the cows, the bulls and the calves, they were smeared with a certain special paint. They were also wearing garlands. So when the ecstatic cowherd men, they heard that Nand Maharaj was celebrating the birth ceremony of his son, they became very joyous. They dressed themselves in very costly garments and decorated their bodies, ornamented with different kinds of earrings, necklaces and turbans. So they all dressed up very nicely and they thus approached the house of Nand Maharaj. As soon as that the cowherd women, the gopis, they heard that my Yashoda has been blessed with a boy, they also became jubilant and they dressed themselves also very beautifully, and then they came to Nand Maharaj's house. And they also came with different kinds of presentations. So they blessed the child. Dear child, you live long to just protect us. And then blessing Krishna in this way, they are offering a mixture of turmeric powder, oil, yogurt, milk, and water. Now they were pouring or sprinkling this mixture not only to Krishna but to all the people who were present there. So when the cowherd men saw the pastimes of the cowherd women, they became very joyful and they began to also throw yogurt, butter, milk and water upon the bodies of the gopis. And then even the gopis were throwing on the gopas, and thus in this way both the parties were throwing butter. So just see what kind of enjoyment was there. Nand Maharaj was also very happy to see the pastimes of the cowherd men and women, and he became very liberal because he was so happy. He became very liberal in giving charity. It's also important to note how wealthy the inhabitants of Vraja were. Because the cowherd men, they belonged to the Vaishya community and their business was to protect the cows, agriculture. By their dress, ornaments and behavior, it seemed as if they, although it was a small village, they seemed to be very rich in material possessions. They possessed such abundance of various milk products that they were throwing butter lavishly. In today's day, who can afford to throw ghee? You can't do that. Pure ghee is so expensive. So they were just throwing on each other's bodies without restriction. So it means that it was there in abundance. And not only they possessed all of this, they were even giving out lavishly like how Nand Maharaj did. So thus Nand Maharaj, he began to satisfy the desires of all the men present there. He respectfully receives them and gives them in charity whatever they desired. And the learned Brahmanas were chanting mantras who had come to bless the child. They did not have any other source of income, so they were also completely dependent on the Vaishya community for their maintenance. And as they just received gifts on such occasions, like birthdays and marriages. And while Nand Maharaj, he is worshipping Lord Vishnu on this occasion and he is thinking, may this child be happy. May child Krishna be happy. Nand Maharaj had no knowledge that he is actually the origin of Vishnu. Krishna is the origin of Vishnu. And he was praying to Lord Vishnu to protect Krishna. Rohini Devi, the wife of Vasudev, she was the most fortunate wife of Vasudev because she was away from her husband, yet just to congratulate Nand Maharaj, she also was present there, dressed herself very nicely. Although, according to Vedic custom, a woman whose husband is not there does not dress herself very nicely. But it was Krishna who was Vasudev's child. She was so jubilant. She dressed herself very nicely. So it looked as if Vrindavan had become a place of pastimes for the goddess of fortune, for Lakshmi Devi. Now, after the birth ceremony of Krishna, Nand Maharaj decides to go to Mathura to pay annual tax to Kamsa. And before leaving, he calls the able cowherd men of the village and asks them to take care of Vrindavan in his absence. So when Nand Maharaj arrives in Mathura, Vasudev gets the news. See, Vasudev is in his house. Vasudev and Devaki, after they were released from prison, they do not go running to Krishna in Gokul. They don't go. They knew that any indication, if they give to Kamsa, then Kamsa will go behind their child. So they also acted as if they suffered, even their eighth child was killed by Kamsa. They just acted in that manner. But when Vasudev got the news that Nand Maharaj has come, he was very eager to congratulate him. So immediately he started off to the place where Nand Maharaj was staying. And when Nand Maharaj saw Vasudev, he felt that he had regained his life. They both embraced. Anxious about his two sons who had been kept under the protection of Nanda without Nanda's knowledge, Vasudev inquired about them with great anxiety. Because both Krishna and Balaram were the sons of Vasudev. Balaram was transferred to the womb of Rohini from the womb of Devaki, who was Vasudev's wife. But Rohini was kept under the protection of Nand Maharaj. Krishna was personally delivered to Yashoda and exchanged with her daughter. Nand Maharaj knew that Balaram was the son of Vasudev, but he did not know that Krishna was also Vasudev's son. Vasudev was aware of this fact and therefore he inquires that, my dear brother, you were very old and were very anxious to beget a son, yet you had none. Now by the grace of the Lord, you are fortunate to have a nice son. I think this incident is very auspicious for you. So I was imprisoned by Kamsa, I am released now, this is another birth for me. I had no hope of seeing you again, but by God's grace, I can now see you. In this way, Vasudev is indirectly expressing his anxiety about Krishna. Because Krishna was left incognito on the bed of Mother Yashoda. And after that, Nand Maharaj celebrated Krishna's birth ceremony. And then he went to Mathura. So Vasudeva was very much pleased. And therefore he said, this is a new birth for me. Because Nand Maharaj did not, Vasudeva did not expect that Krishna would live. He did not expect. Because all his other sons had been killed by Kamsa. So Vasudeva then continues that, my dear friend, it is very difficult for us to live together. We have our family and relative sons. By nature's way, we are generally separated from each other. Based on our karma, for some time we come together and there is some interaction and then we go together and then we separate out. He gives an example also, just like, sometimes in the river, there are the many plants and creepers that are floating. They come along, they float along with the river. They get intertwined, intermingled. As the river moves ahead, as the water passes ahead, when these intertwined plants and creepers also move ahead, they separate out also. And then when they separate out, then they have nothing to do with each other. In the same way, for a while we are in touch with all the people around us, and then in the due course of time, we separate out. So the purport of this expression was that although he had 8 sons from Devaki, unfortunately all of them were gone and he could not even keep one son Krishna with him. Vasudeva was feeling this separation, but he could not express the real fact. So he is asking him, please tell me about the welfare of Vrindavan. Do you have enough animals? Are they happy? Please let me know whether the place you are staying is now undisturbed and peaceful. Because this inquiry particularly Vasudeva makes because he was in anxiety that Kamsa is going to send his followers to kill Krishna. So they had already resolved that all children born within 10 days of Krishna's birth should be killed. Because Vasudeva was so anxious about Krishna, he is inquiring about the safety of Krishna's residence. And he also inquires about Balram and his mother Rohini, who are entrusted to the care of Nand Maharaj. And Vasudeva also told Nand Maharaj that Balaram doesn't know me as his father, he knows you as the father. You are the father, and let it be like that. So, and now you have another nice child, Krishna. So, I think you are taking very nice care of both of them. And it is also significant that Vasudeva inquired about Nand Maharaj's animals also and the welfare of Nand Maharaj, especially the cows. Because Vasudeva was a Kshatriya and Nand Maharaj was a Vaishya. The duty of the Kshatriyas is to give protection to the citizens. The citizens, like Vaishyas, their duty is to give protection to the cows. So the cows are also as important as the citizens. So all the human citizens should be given all kinds of protection, and the cow also should be given. Unfortunately, in today's days, we see that India has become one of the chief exporters of meat, of beef. So we are killing mother cow, but how will that not lead to the breaking of religious principles? Isn't that adharmic? The cow is one of our mothers. How can we kill? So this is very important that we propagate this mood that cow should be protected, because that is what Vedic culture stands on. So Vasudeva, in this way, he is talking to Nand Maharaj. And Nand Maharaj replies back that, my dear Vasudeva, I know that you are very much aggrieved by the cruel killing that your brother-in-law Kamsa afflicted upon you and Devaki and killed all your sons. Although the last child was a daughter, Kamsa did not spare her also. Don't be aggrieved. We are all controlled by karma. And so, do not be miserable or extremely happy. We have to accept how karma works. So, Vasudeva tells Nanda, my dear Nanda, if you have paid the government taxes, then return back to Vrindavan soon. He says, return back soon. He says that very soon there may be some disturbances. So, after this friendly conversation between Nanda and Vasudeva, Nanda along with his associates, they return back to Vrindavan. So now while Nand Maharaj was returning home, he considered Vasudeva's warning that there may be some disturbance in Gokul. Certainly the advice was friendly, it was not false. So Nanda thought that there is some truth in it. Therefore, out of fear, he took shelter of the Supreme Lord. It is very natural for a person in danger to take shelter of the Supreme Lord, because he has no other shelter. If a child is in danger, he takes shelter of his mother or father. Similarly, a devotee who is under the shelter of the Supreme Personality of Godhead, but when he specifically sees some danger, then he remembers the Lord very rapidly. So after consulting with his demoniac ministers, Kamsa instructed a witch called Putana, who knew the black art of killing small children by ghastly sinful methods, to kill all kinds of children in the villages, cities and pasturing grounds. She was ordered. So such witches, they can play their black art only when there is no chanting or hearing of the holy names. As much as we chant the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra, as much as we chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare, as much as we keep chanting the holy names of the Lord, then such evil spirits, evil entities like Putana, they cannot enter. Especially a place where the holy name of Krishna is being chanted. Especially in Vrindavan. Especially in Vrindavan, where the Supreme Lord was personally present. Therefore, the doubts of, can we just request everyone to please mute? Okay. So now the doubts of Nand Maharaj, they were based on affection for Krishna. He had so much of affection. And actually there was no danger from a witch like Putana, despite her flowers. Putana was a witch called Khechari. Such witches, it is mentioned that they are having such power, they can transfer themselves through the branch of one tree to the other. And Putana was that kind of witch. She knew this witchcraft. And she is therefore described in the Bhagavatam as Khechari. So now Putana entered the county of Gokul which is the residential quarter of Nand Maharaj, without permission. And she dressed herself as a very beautiful woman. She enters the house of Queen of Mother Yashoda. She appeared very beautiful. So much so that people were wondering that who is this? Is this Lakshmi Devi? Or is this Mata Gauri who has come? Or is it some Apsara from heaven? In this way, all the Brajvasis were talking amongst each other, who is this beautiful maiden who has appeared in our midst? She went on straight to Mother Yashoda's house, entered. Even Mother Yashoda and Rohini both were stunned at her beauty, and they did not stop her. Ma Yashoda, in fact, looking at her beauty, was so mesmerized, she was actually believing, is she the mother or am I the mother? Is she the mother? Am I the mother? In this way, even Mother Yashoda was bewildered, looking at Putana's beauty. So Putana reached there and she saw the infant Krishna. She could at once understand that this baby was hiding unparalleled potencies which resembled fire covered by smoke. Putana thought that this boy is so powerful that he can destroy the entire universe immediately. He can destroy. Putana's understanding is very significant because the Supreme Personality Krishna is present in everyone's heart as Paramatma. Sarvasya chaham hridi sannivishto mata smritirgyanam apohanam cha vedescha sarve rahameva vedyo vedanta krid veda videva chaham. So Krishna, he is within the heart of every living being as Paramatma. He is also in the heart of Putana. And thus he is also inspiring Putana about himself. And he is the one who Krishna as Paramatma makes Putana realize that he is the Supreme Personality of Godhead. So he is lying there as a small baby, but that does not mean that he has become a small baby and is now no longer powerful. So Krishna, he showed the face of a small baby, he closed his eyes. He closed his eyes as if to avoid Putana. And this closing of the eyes is interpreted in different ways by different devotees. Some say that Krishna closed his eyes because he did not want to see the face of Putana, who had killed so many children and had now come to kill him. Others say that Putana hesitated to take the baby on her lap because something was being dictated to her from within, and in order to give her assurance that there is no problem and that she should take Krishna in her lap, he closed his eyes so that she would not be frightened. And of course, others also interpret that Krishna comes in order to protect the devotees and to kill the demons. Now the first demon to be killed was a woman. Now according to Vedic rules, the killing of a woman is strictly forbidden. Brahmanas' cows also forbidden. Then Krishna, but he was obliged to kill Putana because although it is forbidden, she was a Rakshasi who had come to kill him. So then he closed his eyes that he had to engage in this activity. But Krishna is another interpretation of Krishna closing his eyes is that Krishna only took the positive that Putana had come to give. Now Putana had her breasts smeared with poison. So when children, the babies, small infants, would take and suckle her nipple, that time the poison would enter them and they would die. However, in Krishna's case, Krishna, when he appears with all of his incarnations. So there is a particular incarnation who absorbed or drank poison. Who is that? It is none other than Lord Shiva. Lord Shiva is a Guna avatar of Lord Vishnu. So Lord Shiva is also present within Krishna's person and he drank the poison. So then what did Krishna drink? Krishna, he drank the milk. So Krishna, he accepted milk. He didn't take the poison. That was accepted by Shiva, who is present in Krishna's person. So, and now for this service that Putana rendered of offering milk to Krishna, what did Krishna reciprocate her with? He gave her the position of a nurse in the spiritual world. In the spiritual world, Krishna bestowed upon Putana the great benediction of making her his own nurse. Now, this is our acharyas say that how merciful Krishna is. That just see, he only sees the good. That's why he closed his eyes, because he didn't want to see the bad. He just saw the good, which is, oh, she has come to offer me milk. So if somebody renders devotional service to Krishna, even accidentally, he does not forget. And to somebody like Putana, if he can be so merciful, so what to speak of those who devotedly, dedicatedly chant Krishna's holy names every day without fail? Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. On beads, if we chant Krishna's holy names, if we are engaged in the process of devotional service, which basically means we are acting for the pleasure of Krishna, and how much Krishna will be pleased and how much he will reciprocate with us. So Putana, because she came to give Krishna milk, although she came to give poison, but inadvertently she ended up giving milk. So Krishna took her as one of the mothers. So that is also that was one of the reasons why Krishna closed his eyes also, because he didn't want to kill a mother-like person. He didn't want to kill his nurse. So now when Putana was taking baby Krishna on her lap, Mother Rohini and Yashoda both were present, but because she was so beautifully dressed and showed motherly affection towards Krishna, they did not forbid her. They could not understand that she was like a sword in a decorated case. Putra had smeared very powerful poison on her breasts, and immediately after taking the baby on her lap, she pushed her nipple inside his mouth. She was hoping that as soon as he would suck her breast, he would die. But baby Krishna quickly took the nipple in anger. He sucked the milk poison along with the life air of the demon. In other words, Krishna simultaneously sucked the milk from her breast and killed her by sucking out her life. So, Krishna is so merciful that because Putana came to offer her breast milk to him, he fulfilled her desire by accepting her activity as motherly. But to stop her from her further nefarious activities, he immediately killed her. And because the demon was killed by Krishna, she got liberation. So as Krishna pressed her breast extremely hard and sucked out her life breath, Putra fell down on the ground, spread her arms and legs, and cried, "Oh child, leave me, leave me." She was crying loudly and perspiring. Her whole body had become wet. As she died screaming, there was a tremendous vibration in the sky, in the earth, in the upper and lower planets, in all the directions. And thus the nightmare of Putana was over, and she assumed her form as the great demoness. She opened her fierce mouth and spread her arms and legs all over. It looked as if Vritrasura was struck down by the thunderbolt of Indra. And her body, it actually extended up to 12 miles. And the whole description is given how her body looked like. All the cowherd men and women became completely struck with awe and wonder on seeing this. And after the tumultuous sound of her falling, they completely shocked their brains and ears and made their hearts beat very strongly. When the gopis saw Krishna fearlessly playing on Putra's lap, they very quickly came and picked him up. Mother Yashoda, Rohini and other elderly gopis, they performed auspicious rituals to cleanse Krishna. The child was completely washed with the urine of the cow, and dust created by the hooves of the cows, called Godhuli, was thrown all over his body. And this was just to save Krishna from further inauspicious accidents. Again, this shows how important the cow is to family, to society at large also. So the transcendental body of Krishna does not require protection, but just to instruct us about the glory of the cow. You see, Krishna was thus washed with cow urine, Godhuli, he was sprinkled with, and cow dung also he was smeared upon. So after this purificatory process, the gopis headed by Mother Yashoda and Rohini, they chant the names of Lord Vishnu in order to protect Krishna from evil influences. See, Mother Yashoda and Rohini, they don't think Krishna is God. They don't even know. So for them, they are praying to Vishnu so that Krishna can be protected. So they chanted, "My dear Krishna, may the Lord who is known as Aja protect your legs. Make Maniman protect your knees. May Yagya protect your thighs. May Lord Achyuta protect your upper waist. May Lord Hayagriva protect your abdomen. Lord Keshava protect your heart. May Isha protect your chest. May Surya protect your neck. And Lord Vishnu protect your arms. Lord Urukrama protect your face. May Lord Ishvara protect your head. Lord Chakradhara protect your front. And Lord Gadadhar protect your back. May Lord Madhusuna protect your right side. May Lord Ajana protect your left side. So in this way, they are chanting different mantras that please protect this for different parts of the body and different mantras of the Lord. Mother Yashoda was fully convinced that she should protect her child from all kinds of evil spirits like yakshas, dakinis, kushmandas, rakshasas, like that. So she was chanting the names of Vishnu because the holy names of the Lord keep all these negative influences away. So the elderly gopis of in Vrindavan were so affectionate to Lord that they wanted to save him, although there was no need to do because he had already protected himself. They could not understand that Krishna is the Supreme Personality of Godhead playing as a child. So after performing the formalities to protect the child, Mother Yashoda took Krishna and allowed him to suck her breast. And when the child was protected by Vishnu mantra, Yashoda felt that now he is safe. So this is the sweetness of Krishna's pastimes, just like in Vatsalya Ras. My Yashoda, she feels that she is the mother of Krishna and she is fully responsible to protect Krishna. Although Krishna is the one who is the protector of everyone. But he loves this kind of reciprocation. Krishna is Rasaraj, he is the king of all mellows. And to relish these mellows, he performs these different pastimes. So Mother Yashoda felt that he was safe. And in the meantime, all the coward men who had gone to Mathura to pay tax, they returned home and they were struck completely with wonder on seeing this gigantic body of Putana. Nand Maharaj recalled the prophecy of Vasudev and he considered Vasudev a great sage and a mystic yogi. Otherwise, how could he have known that there are some calamities that are going to strike Vrindavan? After this, all the residents of Raja, they cut the gigantic body of Putana into small pieces and they piled it upon wood, piled it with wood for burning. Now, when the limbs of Putana were set on fire, it generated a very beautiful aroma, very good aroma. And this aroma was because she was killed by Krishna. So here is how Krishna, the interaction that one has with Krishna is all good. Putana came to kill Krishna, but because he sucked her milk, she was immediately purified and her dead body also attained a transcendental quality. Her business was to kill small children. She was fond of blood. But in spite of being envious of Krishna, she attained salvation because she gave him her milk to drink. So what can be said of those who are affectionate to Krishna in the role of a mother, who with great love and affection serve him? So it is thus concluded that even a little energy that is expended in the service of the Lord gives one immense transcendental profit. This is explained in Bhagavad Gita. Neha bhikramana shosti pratyavayo na vidyate swalpamapi asya dharmasya trayate mahato bhayat. Little bit bhakti is performed by an individual, it goes a long way. It can save one from the most dangerous type of fear. What is the most dangerous type of fear? What are we afraid of? The most dangerous type of fear is not death. The most dangerous type of fear is being born in an animal body. Because in an animal body, we cannot perform any higher activity. Only eating, sleeping, mating and defending. So devotional service is considered so sublime that even a little service, it will benefit the person knowingly, unknowingly. So in this way, this was Putana's story, and the devotees think that if Putana as an enemy can get so much benefit, then how much a person who is giving love and affection will be benefited. So thus only Krishna should be worshipped because so much benefits awaits the worshipper. So while all the inhabitants of Vrindavan, they are smelling this nice aroma of burning putana, they are asking from each other, where is this good fragrance coming from? And then while inquiring, they understand that they are the fumes burning from putana. They were very fond of Krishna, and as soon as they heard that demon Putana had been killed by Krishna, they offered blessings to the little child in affection. After the burning of Putana, Maharaj Nanda, he comes home and immediately takes Krishna to his chest and begins to smell his head. He was greatly satisfied that his child was saved from this big calamity. So Shukdev Goswami, he says that anyone who hears this story of Putana will surely get the favor of Govinda, will surely get Krishna's favor. So this is the story of Putana. Putana represents pseudo gurus. These demons who came in Vrindavan, they all represent some anarthas that are present within and without of us. Putana represents pseudo gurus, false gurus. The false gurus are those who engage in certain spiritual practices, so called externally, but the entire idea behind is some kind of sense gratification or liberation also. They don't want to teach us how to rekindle our lost relationship with Krishna. So these are pseudo gurus. The second way in which we can understand this Putana pastime is pseudo gurus. The other type of pseudo gurus is one own's mind. One's own mind is also guru because we always listen to our mind. We are never alone actually. We are always in the asat sangha of our uncontrolled mind. As Gita mentions that one whose mind is controlled, the mind is best friend. One whose mind is uncontrolled, it is the worst enemy. So because our mind is not controlled, how is it functioning? As a friend or enemy? So because it is functioning as an enemy, it takes us away from Krishna, makes us more atheistic and impersonal and more self-centered, trying to engage in sense gratification. So that is why we must keep these two types of false gurus away. We should keep this Putana away. How? By engaging ourselves more and more in devotional activities in the association of devotees. If we are always in proper association, all those who have been purified by the process of Krishna consciousness, then one need not worry. Otherwise, there is always the chance of a fall down. So we must choose our association very wisely, because eventually we become whom we associate with. So remembering this pastime of Putana about how the Lord was extremely merciful and thus bestowed his mercy on the Putana demon and took her to the spiritual world, giving her a position of the nurse. Let us thus glorify the Supreme Lord's character and wonderful, most merciful nature that he possesses, and thus engage ourselves with full determination in a way which is anukul or favorable to Krishna, and thus Lord will also give blessings just like he did to Putana. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So thank you very much. Today we discussed about Vasudev's meeting with Nanda and the Putana story. We shall resume tomorrow, wherein we shall discuss about the killing of Shaktasura, killing of Trinavarta, and ahead. So we shall take some questions. If you have some questions, you can unmute yourselves. You can raise your hands, then you will be unmuted, and then you can ask it, or you can also type in the chat box. Okay. So we have some questions. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, many of us belong to hard-working class and love to donate our hard money earned for ISKCON community of learned and elevated Brahmanas for superior cause. Okay, that's a comment. Okay, it's a comment. Okay. If Lord Vishnu is the ultimate God, then why Christian and Muslim religion have appeared? Okay, so there is a session we give which is called If One God, Why So Many Religions? So you see, in the Islamic scriptures, in the Quran, it is nowhere mentioned that Krishna is not God. Likewise, in the Bible and other Christian scriptures, in the different Gospels, they talk of God as the Father. Jesus Christ, he said, Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. He said, love thy God with all thy might, with all thy strength, with all thy heart. Love God, he said. But who is that person? Srila Prabhupada explains Jesus Christ. This word Christ comes from the root word Christos, Latin word Christos. And this word Christos comes from the Sanskrit word Krishta. Even this word Krishna comes from Krishta. That means if you say Mr. Christ, or you say Christos, or you say Krista, or you say Krishna, is one and the same. So who is Jesus Christ Father? Who is Christ? Is Krishna. There is no contradiction in the teachings. According to time, place and circumstances, the same absolute truth is presented in a way that the audience in front can accept it. But essentially there is no contradiction. Likewise, in the Muslim faith also, they rely more so on the impersonal feature of the Lord, not the personal form. So the impersonal feature is also part of the personal feature of Krishna. So in that way, there is no contradiction. So we must understand that Krishna is God, He is one, but there are many ways and paths to approach Him. And these, the prophets and ambassadors, the messengers of God who have come, they give that same message but in a way in which the audience can understand. Just like Muhammad, when he was preaching, he was preaching to? He was preaching to tribesmen of the desert. Likewise, when Jesus, when he preached, 3 years he preached and they crucified him. So the people in that particular area, in that particular time, they only could accept a certain particular message. Jesus was preaching to fishermen. His own followers betrayed him. For 3 years he preached, he was crucified. Whereas you see, when Arjuna and Krishna are talking Bhagavad Gita on the battlefield of Kurukshetra, how great are these personalities? Even so materially accomplished, like Arjuna, for example. He was fully sense controlled. And what arguments he gives. So in this way we can understand that religion is according to time, place and circumstance. It is presented in a way which is palatable to the audience, so that they don't reject it completely. So from that point of view, there is no ambiguity. There is no discrepancy with respect to religion. There is only one religion, which is Sanatana Dharma. Everything else is a subset of this Sanatana Dharma. Okay. There is a question, after hearing Putna's story, what does one get? Well, I mentioned it, after hearing Putna's story, then one gets the mercy of Krishna. He gets faith, he gets Shraddha. That's what he gets. Question, another. In our daily life, what are the demons inside us, like anger, ego, laziness, and how can we remove them without hurting others? Yes, these anarthas, like we mentioned yesterday, Kam, Krodh, Lobh, Madh, Maya, Matsarya, they are very deep in our system, and they actually pull us down. They, instead of making us better and improved version of ourselves, we become much lower. So how do we get over these anarthas? Actually, just by our own endeavor, it is not possible. We need a lot of mercy. By the mercy of devotees, by the mercy of Vaishnavas, it is very easy. By the mercy of Sri Guru, it is much, much simpler. Therefore, we should pray to Krishna, my dear Lord, I am suffering like anything due to lust, due to anger. Please help me. This is one way, by offering prayers. By performing Bhakti Yoga, we invoke the mercy of the Lord. So praying Vandanam is one. Regular chanting of the holy names of Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. The regular chanting of the holy names of Krishna, it can completely remove these anarthas from within our system. So everyone should make this a habit of chanting at least a few rounds of the Hare Krishna Maha Mantra every day. And you see how much we get relief from these anarthas. And if you do that early in the morning, in the association of devotees, you will see you will get the strength to fight against temptations also. So that is the way in which we can remove these anarthas without hurting others. So one more question, how can one protect their dharmic resolve when surrounded by materialistic influences of Kali Yuga? Very nice question. Dharmic resolve. First of all, to protect dharma or our dharmic resolutions, we must know what dharma is in the first place. So for that we need to study. Somehow our education system doesn't teach us this. It doesn't teach us morality, higher morality, transcendental morality, different levels of dharma. It doesn't teach us. So then it's up to us. We need to learn, and then we have to apply it, because every day in our life we come through so many situations. We come across so many situations wherein there is the dharma sankat. There is a situation wherein there is a conflict, and then we have to understand what is the higher dharma, what is the lower dharma. So the way to protect dharmic resolve is, number one, first understand what dharma is. In every situation we have a certain duty. So to understand that duty, and what is the higher duty in every situation also, which leads to the surrender to Krishna and progress on the spiritual path, this we need to understand. For this we need a guru. We need to study Shastra and we need a guru. So that's how we begin. And then as we go ahead, the dharma rakshati rakshataha. If you protect dharma, dharma will also protect you. So when we protect our dharmic resolve, then dharma also protects us. And that reciprocation gives us the faith that nahi, this works. So I should follow this path. So we have to put faith. Faith comes by associating with those who have faith. So that's how we protect dharmic resolve. Although even if there are materialistic influences in Kali Yuga, it will be tested. But certainly there will be light at the end of the tunnel. Okay. One more question. What age Yashoda Maya had child? Now this I have not come across in my reading, what exact age, but it is mentioned that she had a few grey hairs. It's mentioned. Nanda Baba also had grey hairs. That means that they were senior in age. In today's world, how can we identify people or influences that appear friendly but secretly harm our values or peace of mind? How can we identify people or influences that appear friendly? Like Putana. It's a very nice, relevant question. Putana appeared so friendly. When she came, everyone thought that she has come. The Brajvasis thought that if our Krishna drinks this milk, he will become like a demigod. That's what they thought. So appearing friendly, but actually sinister motives. So how do you do? Actually, you cannot always come to know what everyone's motives are, because we are not Paramatma. Only Krishna as Paramatma knows who's carrying what motives. But what we can figure out is, we know our duty, we know our dharma, and we surrender to Krishna and depend on him for protection. Rakhe Krishna mare Krishna rakhe ke. If Krishna wants to protect, nobody can kill. If Krishna wants to kill, nobody can protect. So we have to surrender to Krishna and allow ourselves, to be completely used by him as an instrument. And thus, we will then become successful in our purpose of this human mission. You will see. And 100% we are protected. So that is why we should know in every situation what is our duty. We cannot worry about everyone. We cannot worry about who is envious of me, who is not. Envy is inevitable in this material world. Is the truth and harsh reality of life. We cannot change that. But what we do need to change is our faith in Krishna. That we have a control over. So let us try to develop that. And our peace of mind, that can be protected if we chant Hare Krishna Maha Mantra regularly, early in the morning. If you chant a couple of rounds in the morning, we chant 16 rounds every day. That's the standard Srila Prabhupada set us up. 16 rounds every day, Brahma Muhurat time. If you do this, then hardly anything can disturb your peace of mind. Worth a try. Okay. Question: what good deed do the demons like Putana had performed to get an opportunity to meet Krishna, though at the time of death? Yeah, it's a very nice question. Actually, I'll tell you about Putana's previous life. Putana in the previous life was Ratnamala. Ratnamala was the sister of Bali Maharaj. So when Krishna came as Vaman avatar, when Ratnamala saw this small child, Vaman, she felt so much of Vatsalya Bhav in her heart. She felt, such beautiful, nice child. I would love to uh, bestow affection on him like a mother. She got that feeling, maternal feeling. So she desired to serve Krishna. Now, when Vaman Dev took in 3 steps of land, he asked for, in 2 steps, he took away everything from Bali Maharaj. Ratnamala became very negative. She became very bitter and she criticized Krishna. So, because of that, she got the offense. She made an offense towards the Lord. Because of the offense, she became a Rakshasi. But because she had that desire in her previous life as Ratnamala to serve the Lord by giving him milk, she wanted to feed him. She wanted to she had that motherly affection. So because of that, she got the opportunity. And thus, Krishna fulfills all desires, purifies also. Just see how Krishna is absolute. So that's the story behind Putana. Okay, another question is why these Leelas are called transcendental Leelas? How they increase the devotion to Krishna? Yes, because when we hear about Krishna, you can only love and get attracted to a person about whom you hear or you experience. If there is no experience, how can we be attached to a person? So that's why these are Leelas or pastimes. Because this Krishna performs these activities in order to attract us back to him. Who is not attracted after hearing a Leela like Putana's? That what Krishna awarded her. In the spiritual world, she becomes a nurse, a mother figure for what she did. Who is not attracted? It's a pastime. He doesn't need to do all this. He has to just walk from the heart of the demons. Walk out, finish. But he doesn't do that. He fights also. He likes different rasas. That's why. We also like different rasas. Because we are also part and parcel of Krishna. So these are all Leelas or pastimes. An ordinary living entity, what he does is not Leela. It is not a pastime, it is time pass. And they increase the devotion to Krishna because they give us faith. Hare Krishna Prabhuji, any sampradaya which is not connected to Sri Brahma, Rudra or Kumar sampradaya should be accepted or not? Well, you have already answered the question. Anything that is not connected to these four, the four sampradayas are Brahma Sampradaya, Rudra Sampradaya, Kumar Sampradaya, and Shri Sampradaya. Shri Sampradaya not mentioned. So these four sampradayas, anything that is not connected to these four is not authorized. So we don't accept the teachings as bona fide. They are like universities. In India, if any university is connected to the UGC, so then that certificate that university gives you has value. So we accept that. That which is not connected, how can you accept? Is the same matter here also. Question: how can we turn even negative experiences in life into lessons or stepping stones for personal growth? Negative experiences in life should not be taken as negative experiences. They should be taken as stepping stones for success. Stepping stones because there's so much of learning from it. If you learn, then you grow. Dharma is loving and serving the Supreme Godhead. Yeah, that's the highest dharma. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yato bhakti radhokshade. Highest dharma is loving and serving the Supreme Lord. Another question: how do we pray when we enter a temple other than Krishna, like any other demigod or giant temple? How do we pray? We see them as the energy of Lord Krishna. There are so many shlokas that you can chant. Like for Ganesh ji also we have Yad Pada Pallavi Yugam Vinidhaya Kumbha Dvandve Pranam Samaye Cha Ganadi Raja Vignan Vihantum Alamasya Jagatrayasya Govindamadi Purusham Tamam Bhajami. So like that there are all these different pranam mantras are there in context of Krishna consciousness. In the Brahma Samhita you will find. So you can chant those mantras and they will be also happy when you establish their position. Prabhuji, which is the best way to chant Maha Mantra? Should we chant loudly or like Nam Jap, I think Nam Jap, trying to say. Chant loudly, audibly, you have to hear. You should be able to hear Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. That is, Kirtan is one way and Nam Jap. So this is, the Japa should happen every day. Question is, I am filled with negativity and I am listening many classes, but this was increasing. How can I reduce this? You can reduce negativity by going and sitting in a place with a lot of positive vibrations. You don't sit, by sitting at home, it will not change. You have to go where very strong spiritual vibrations are present, like if you go in the temple. And you hear these healing stories of Krishna's love, they give a lot of solace. All right, so that's the end of the questions. Okay, one last, then we end. As per dharma, how to do our duties towards others whom we know are not well-wishers and in fact harm us? If somebody directly harms, then it also becomes a duty to protect ourselves. So then, if self-defense is not is also a part of the duty, self-defense is also required. So it has to be called out on if somebody is creating harm. At the same time, sometimes it happens if you are in a leadership position. So then people are there who are not going to appreciate it, right? There are ungrateful people always. So then what has to be done? We have to perform our duty towards them also. Just like a parent performs duties towards their children, not always the children are in a good mood, grateful, reciprocal love they provide. It's not like that. But still they do their duties. In the same way, we should perform it for the pleasure of Krishna. That Krishna has put me in this position, let me try to do my best. But this topic of dharma is very complicated and it always differs in every situation for every individual. Therefore, you need a person, a mentor who's going to help you apply these principles in your life till the time we attain maturity. So that is the recommendation. Okay. So thank you very much for your kind attention and joining us on the second day of Krishna Katha series. Looking forward to sharing more stories with you all tomorrow and for the next coming days until the festival of Janmashtami. Shri Krishna Chandra Bhagwan ki jai, Srila Prabhupada ki jai, Granthraj Srimad Bhagavatam ki jai, Shri Krishna Janmashtami Mahamahotsav ki jai, Nitai Gaur Premanande, Hari Hari Bol.
The recording has stopped.